of the office.
Discharge all the duties of the office.
Sorry, please say your office. In Floyd County as now.
In Floyd County as now.
Or here and after required by law.
Or
Here and after required by law.
You're done.
Okay, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to sign, you want blue, does it matter?
Sure.
They are. Mine was just so I stuck with it. Everybody with it. And actually, Morgan, you can just take those back to the, there's a file in the auditor's office for all the else. Thank Morgan, so we have those.
Thank you. I guess I forget. I'll be the one. Congratulations.
Okay, we'll move on to approve the tentative agenda. We started at 8:30 this morning because we thought this room was going to be used for mediation of the turbine work group, and that didn't work out. So we're going to finish a little earlier, I hope, too. But so anyway, approve a tentative agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion by Campbell, second by Carr to approve the tentative agenda. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Hi.
Motion approved. Public comment. This is for any comment that on items that may not be on our agenda. Don't see anybody phone or by Zoom. Okay. The next item is review action regarding appointment of a chairperson for 2025.
Chairman, I would like to make the recommendation of Dennis Kiefer for the chairperson of 2025. Motion.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion?
Yes. I would just ask that you consider what I had said before about having a new auditor on hand. There's so much that the auditor is not aware of, and it'll take her time to get acclimated to her position. And Dennis, there's just a lot with you not being in, having that experience to assist her with that aspect of the position for her and for the position of the chair. As Supervisor Kuhn mentioned at the prior meeting, he had said how that relationship is so important. And as I mentioned at that meeting, the only reason I would suggest that I would be the chair is because of having a new auditor. I mean, if you would have been the chair a year ago, I think it would have been a different thing. You would have had 1 year behind you with experience on what needs to be done. But just because we have a new auditor, I think it's really important for that. I think I would be better suited to be the chair this year for that reason. No disrespect to anything, but you know, if maybe if you have another term yet or another year after this one, maybe next year would be a better option for you to be the chair. It's I don't know. It is a very critical role.
And no disrespect to you and your 20 years of service to the county, Alan, and you make a good point there. However, you're still going to be here, you know, and I think this is Morgan she looks like a quick study and a fast learner and I mean, you're gonna be here to help her, you know. And,
That's where it just gets a little more difficult with,
yeah,
with,
probably does,
yeah,
you know. But,
Yeah. because
And-
we can't both be talking to her about certain things, because it would then look like we're diverting a meeting.
No disrespect, you know, nothing personal, but I'm stand by my,
And I don't think you need to be the chair to assist Morgan in her duties to transition into a new auditor role. I mean, I may work with Morgan on the agenda, but I'm not gonna be there every day with her, and if she needs some assistance, she's welcome to contact her, can help her. Doesn't have to be, I don't think you have to be a chair to do that, so. That's my opinion.
I would just encourage you then to read up on prior year's minutes so that you know what to coach her with to be.
Sure.
Because I'm not gonna be here every day either for
Yeah,
her.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. Item 4, review action regarding appointment of the vice chair for 2025. I'll make a motion to have Boyd Campbell be the vice chair for 2025.
I'll second.
Second by Campbell. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Review regarding approval of the December 23rd, 24 meeting minutes. I looked at those minutes. I didn't see anything that was glaringly wrong or incorrect. So.
Yeah, I didn't see anything in there. So I'll move that we approve the meeting minutes for the 23rd of December.
A motion by Campbell, second by Carr. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Review action regarding the approval of claims. Went through the claims. Didn't see anything there that seemed excessive or jumped out at me as being unusual.
I'd make a motion to approve the claims.
I have one question on the NEICAC. What's that stand for? Fees of $8,562.
It's, which department is it? You're not looking at current claims, you're looking at past claims.
Okay. Shoot, no wonder that. Oh,
The claims are emailed to you from, they would have been from Jen this time,
okay.
a separate email from.
Hey, this is Lexi. Would I be able to interject here on the claims portion?
Sure.
I was just looking through our drainage claims and it came to my attention that claim number 15437 for drains got entered in under drain number 7 when it should have been drain number 1. So that will need to get removed. So I don't know how we want to handle that as far as approving.
Are you too far in the claim run that you could back it out and just do it now and resend it to us?
Yes, I should be able to do that.
Okay. I think we could prove it that way, that with that one as drain 1 instead of drain 7.
Okay, I will work on that right now and send it to you as soon as I have it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
We wait till we get that revision, or can we?
I think you can prove it with her. Yeah.
Okay. Motion by Supervisor Carr, we need a second.
I'll second.
Second by Campbell. Any other discussion? If
I guess let's go back to Boyd's question about what that IEE stands for. I guess I have the same question for $8,500, even though it's a past claim.
But I can pull up, or any of us can pull up the claims that were approved on the 23rd. So if I'll pull up those claims, you'll be able to see what that is. Let's see. It was, what was it again?
NEICAC.
Iowa Community Action. Yeah, Northeast, was it for the claim for excuse me, 1,800. If that's the one. Did you find it again? That is, if that's the one, it was for the Lori Christensen's Families Making Connections, Early Childhood, Iowa. And that's that's a grant. We're fiscal agent for that grant. And if that's the one, is that the one you're talking about? I just searched the word north and that's the closest thing I've come to so far. So that's the only one that has north in it. Was that the amount?
Yeah.
So that's Families Making Connection, or excuse me, Floyd Mitchell Chickasaw, Early Childhood, Iowa. The county is the fiscal agent for that organization, and it's all state grant-based program. That's the board you'll serve on if we go through what we've done today or later on in the agenda that Mark served on in the past. And they request that organization, all of their funding goes to specific categories, ages 0 to 5, for children ages 0 to 5, that they can request funding to help educate that age category. So it's like lots of preschools apply. That's what some of the other claims are on that claim run. And they've requested assistance through that program, through that grant, through that 3-county board. And that's what that is for.
So that's not an ongoing thing, that grant's one time only, or?
Every year.
Every year.
Yeah, and so they have to provide the services before they're awarded the money. So this is likely just a partial of the total grant that they've requested for, but they've met their measurement period of, say they offered dining, for example. They've met that period, they've provided receipts to Lori, and then Lori runs the claim through.
Okay, so when we get into the budget process, we'll have this all spelled out.
Nope.
Nope.
This is not county budget dollars. We're just the fiscal agent It's nothing budgetary.
Okay,
It's recommended that we publish their claims as well, so we always publish their claims. It's kind of a new issue of you approving them,
right.
but it is a claims process that goes through. But because her board, you'll approve those requests for funding. And
So
so
he'll sit on the board. and-
it will, yeah, that's where that goes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Try to
there's
remember
no-
that.
There's no Floyd County money in that?
Nope.
Why do they call it the Floyd Mitchell County?
So
So that's federal money?
it's state funds.
State funds?
It's state funds that come through Health and Human Services.
Okay,
And how the state determines that money, I can't say for sure how they determine what each, and there's a formula. Only if a region has been developed, a single county couldn't even do a request.
okay,
It has to be a developed region, and then they can, there's categories that they have to spend those dollars.
yep,
And so only when that board meets, they determine how to spend that money. It's about, there's, that one is Early Childhood Iowa for School Ready. There's also Early Childhood Iowa for early childhood. So there's two different programs. This one happens to be on the Fund 24,000. The Fund 25,000 is this one's school ready. So this one was, think of it that way. It's school ready funds to get children ages 0 to 5 ready for school. Is what that one does. But you have to have regions. I'm not sure how many regions there are in the state of Iowa. This is the one where Floyd County is Floyd Mitchell Chickasaw, and Lori Christensen retired December 31st. And the coordinator for the T4F group is a 4-county area: Bremer, Butler, Hancock, and Franklin. That coordinator is now the coordinator for the FMC area, with the intent that those groups will either, within the next year and a half, will either decide to become a 7-county region or stay 2 independent, 3-county region for FMC and 4-county region for T4F.
Yes.
Answer your question, Woody.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember all that.
Mhm. But it's not, so as fiscal agent,
So
there's a claim in this claim run that we've just approved. I don't know if we finished that approval or not, but there's a claim in this fiscal run to pay Floyd County for our fiscal agent services. So you might have seen that in this claim run. So we get compensated for being that fiscal role. So,
well, with all these abbreviations and being new on this, I apologize for that.
abbreviations should be outlawed almost.
Yeah, yeah.
So did we have a motion to approve the claims? We need a second. I think Lori had made a motion.
Okay.
I think you I have it, you seconded
I
it.
think I
You
said.
seconded it.
Yeah, and then there was discussion.
Any other discussion on the claims? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 7, review action regarding setting regular board meetings. It's spelled out in official meeting open to the public and provide records of the same for Iowa Code Chapter 22 examination of public records. I think typically this board is met on Monday mornings at 9 o'clock. I'm okay with that if everybody else is, unless you want a different time and date, or day, I should say.
A few years back, we were, every Monday was a workshop meeting, and the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays were action meetings. And with those action meetings, we often weren't getting, when you have a meeting, say the fourth Tuesday of the month, and then your next meeting for action is the second Tuesday of the next month, you would have this gap in there, sometimes more than 3 weeks. And the timing of receiving invoices by mail, the mailed invoices seem to be the larger problem because of timing of delivery service. And so the board switched to meetings every Monday. I would like, I'm fine. I'm in favor of doing meetings once a week. Mondays is fine, but I would like us to maybe reconsider that somewhere down the road, to maybe having a Tuesday meeting instead of a Monday meeting. Unless that conflicts with other board appointments that you might have other meetings on those other days. But I think that would, I was in a different position as auditor and Morgan is, and I end up working a lot of weekends to get stuff together for packets because the weeks just seems to get away from you. At some time, maybe we might consider a Tuesday meeting, and maybe even, I've polled a lot of other counties. I don't know if you guys have talked to any other counties or anything, but several counties do claims every other week, and they'll do them opposite of payroll week. So it's less burdensome on the auditor's office that is doing both of those roles. And I think if we could do every other week for claims, that might be an option to consider as well.
Why did we go to weekly?
It just because if we were meeting every Monday anyway for workshops, we just changed our regular meetings to. So I mean, it could still be that you have your meetings every Monday if you want to, but you could still do claims every other.
And that wouldn't be, we'd still get the claims all out at time, and,
I would think so.
you know.
I would think so.
I mean, if this reduces the workload on the auditor, you know, I would be for
I think that the counties that I've talked to, it's been very successful them doing the every other, but it's just the second and fourth was the issue because there'd always be that gap and a lot of bills. At the time we contacted some of the vendors and said, can you change this date instead of do the 10th of the month to, because the second Tuesday might be the 14th of the month.
Yeah.
And so we worked on that, tried working that for a while, but we were ending up doing so many handwritten claims because department heads they personally can be responsible for penalties, interest type things if they don't turn in a claim, if it doesn't get paid timely, and you can't, and if a vendor charged that penalty on there, that department head was responsible for getting it that removed. And most vendors, probably 99% of a vendor would say, oh, we'll waive that penalty or late fee or whatever it was. But
So should we consider moving our meetings to Tuesday right now instead of waiting and doing it later, or what would be the disadvantage of that, or advantage, if any? So
the only thing I thought of that is we already have budget scheduled for the next 2 Mondays.
and maybe we should wait then. Okay.
And we can,
But the claims thing, I mean, if you really feel that, you know, we could get by and we wouldn't get in trouble for that, it would
oh yeah,
help out, you know.
Yeah.
I can't see anything wrong with that. I think it'd be more efficient and better for her time.
Yeah.
You know?
So should we wait till we get to the budget meetings before we make that change?
yeah. I think let Morgan get acclimated a little bit to the position and she can work with the staff and see if you want to switch to that every other Monday or Tuesday, whatever day for claims, then she can get established with the staff and figure out which way you want to do it. Because you don't want the auditors, I mean, if you have short staff in the auditor's office and the same week someone's got to enter claims and the same person is backup person is entering payroll because someone's gone, we want to rotate it so that entry work is not the same week.
We can table this.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think you
Table it for
could-
a month or two.
I don't think you need to table it. I would say make the motion to do it Mondays at 9. And then we just do another motion when Morgan gets a little more acclimated. It just is revisited at that time.
Okay.
I think that would work. I'd make the motion to hold the regular board meetings on Mondays at 9 a.m. In the courthouse boardroom, and subject to change in the future.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Carr, second by Campbell. Any comments from anybody? Mr. Bogey?
I guess going to a Tuesday meeting, you'll have a meeting every week. Mondays, a lot of holidays fall on Mondays. So if you did go to Tuesdays, you'd have a meeting every week. There wouldn't be a Monday holiday to skip. So that,
The only thing I would say on Tuesdays is when it's an election day too.
well,
The
yeah,
auditor's busy with elections.
We have to make, may have to make a change then
yeah,
to accommodate that.
yeah. But that's the only thing, a lot of Monday holidays. You'd avoid them if you had Tuesday meetings.
We always have Memorial Day and Labor Day. Always.
Okay.
President's.
Just something to think about. That's the first thing to come in my head is Monday holidays.
Sure.
Yeah.
Any other comments or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item number 8 is review board meeting policy and action, and that's a lengthy description here in our packet. I don't know that we need to make or consider making any significant changes to the way we conduct our meetings. We have in the past and will continue to apply with Iowa's open meeting laws, and that's, I guess, my opinion. Anyway.
I would just say, on number 9. So the second sentence reads, for convenience to, and this is under general scope. For convenience to the public, the board will provide the public with the ability to attend the meeting telephonically or in some virtual format. Just so I don't, and I'm not suggesting changing that by any means. I just want to make sure that you all are aware that we have to offer that now. That changed last legislative session. We have to offer it to the board, not to the public.
Right.
But I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So I don't know that we need to change anything. That was just one of the things as I was reading it that I thought I'd mention that one. And then I do have, I don't know if you guys have, boy, you probably haven't even seen this yet. I don't suppose. It's on the bulletin board usually, but it gets stolen every once in a while. So I don't know if it's on there right now, but somebody likes to take it every once in a while. So number 10 though says, in the event that conducting a meeting by electronic means is necessary, public access to the conversation of the meeting will be provided to the extent reasonably possible in accordance with Iowa Code Chapter 21.8. I should have looked up that code just to see if that's different, but I think that needs to be maybe clarified, that it has to be available by one means or the other. And that's where the beauty of what we've done is we've got it by conference phone, which is on a different system than the Zoom meetings are, because sometimes we'll have a problem with our phone lines, or sometimes we'll have problems with the internet. And so, but I think number 10 maybe needs to be the is necessary. I think that one needs to be reworded just a little bit. You know, it says in the event that conducting a meeting by electronic means is necessary. It's always necessary now.
Right.
So I think
So where are you seeing that?
number 10 under general scope.
I don't have it. Right here.
Yep.
Okay. Event connected meeting. So you're saying remove in the event?
I think it needs to just be I think if this was an agenda item and action if necessary, but I think it just needs to be massaged a little bit. No action today. We bring it back at a future meeting. I will check that code reference as well, unless any of you have checked it. I haven't double checked if that's the new code section, but I think it needs to be updated. So to what, I'm not quite sure yet. I don't know if you and Morgan want to work with that or.
We don't need to take any action on that.
No.
So, okay.
Under agendas, number 5, it has any new agenda item on the amended tentative agenda will be highlighted in yellow to advise the public it has been added to the agenda. I really don't see any relevance to that. And when I print things, I usually just print things and it prints black and white. And so it might show highlighted, I mean a grade highlight over it, but this is not a requirement for chapter 21. It's your tentative agenda is just that, it's a tentative agenda. I don't know that there's really a need to have a highlight on there.
So you want to remove that sentence, item 5?
That's what I would propose. I don't know that there's any relevance to it.
Okay.
And then number 8, I think this just needs to be clarified a little bit on the sentence where on the 4th line there on number 8, that sentence, agendas will also be placed on the county website and emailed to members of the public who request it. And what I would like to change to that is I've had a distribution list where I've put it on the website and I've always had this distribution that people who had asked and I'd send it out that way as well. But anything since we got the website established, there's a really slick notify me option on the website. And that allows that person to go out there and pick any and all, whether it's 911 or Board of Health or supervisors or watershed or any county board meeting, they can go out to that website and they can choose to pick agendas, they can choose to pick minutes, they can choose to get them emailed to them or texted to them. And that's where I'm sending people. I've not added new people to that distribution list, but I did a couple of weeks ago notify those people and gave them instructions on how simple it is, screenshots of the notify me option that they can go out and pick not just Board of Supervisors, but zoning's been a hot one with wind turbines the past year. They could go out, they can pick anything that they want and get those emails. And I think it's just one less step for the auditor to have to do another. They just put it out on the website. Anytime it automatically, when it's put out on the website, gets sent out to anybody who's requested that information.
Does the website work 100% of the time?
If the internet is working, if the internet isn't working, my email isn't working, or her email isn't working. You're not gonna get it if the internet's not working. So I think it's a pretty solid thing. There's nothing that's required to put it on the website, so it's like a bonus anyway. It's just required to post it on the bulletin board. So it's all a bonus anyway. So if the internet is working,
I'm not so concerned about the internet, but sometimes, and I'm not a real tech person, but I have trouble navigating through our website and finding stuff. And it probably is just me and
so if you have that, the instructions are really easy to do the notify me. And then the emails automatically go to that person. Okay, so if Morgan's put an email or an agenda out there or the minutes out there and they've requested to get that, soon as it's, any department is putting that information out there. As soon as they put it out there, that email goes instantly, or that text message goes instantly to that person, and it has a link right to the website where you find it. It's really easy. It really is easy.
Since these are all kind of a bonus thing, it might be better being someone new coming in that it doesn't get forgotten, like an email list, if you can automatically get that email if you sign up online. And I'm sure that just like sending the email asking to be on that list going out, I can help you right there. You can come to me and I can sign you up to get those notifications on the website. And then maybe that will help with things not getting forgotten or lost during this transition period too.
It's just one more unnecessary step that I don't think that the auditor needs to do because it's already there, an option already there. It's really easy. I could show you how to do it, and I mean, we could. Morgan said Morgan could put that person's email address out there so that they get those notices, and anybody could go put someone's email out there so that they get that information. It's super simple.
Okay, I don't have any reason to oppose it, I guess.
No.
So, just technology sometimes
Job
isn't
easier.
foolproof. Yeah, Mr. Jorgensen?
If I could go back to the conversation of the highlighted, you don't want to you want to remove the highlighting from things, is that what I understand?
Yeah, because
So-
the tentative, it's just a tentative agenda.
But when things change, if you see the first agenda and then it comes out second one highlighted, you know right away that something has changed.
Yeah.
And it is convenient that way. And,
It's such,
oh, go ahead. I got a follow up too. Go ahead.
it's such a short window of time from when the agenda gets out to the website, and if there is something updated to the website, it's typically, you know, the agendas are done on Thursday evening or Friday for Monday's meeting. And so usually before the end of the day, Friday, if there's something that got posted on Thursday, it's updated on Friday. And so many people may not have even looked at their emails yet to know. And the beauty of that website is that when that new agenda goes out there, if they've requested to get those agendas, it's gonna automatically send them the most recent email anyway. And so I think it's such a short window that it probably wouldn't, most people would just look at the most recent email and know that's the agenda that you're looking at. My thoughts anyway.
And I don't know if this is the right time to bring it up, if it's not, say so, but so the agenda packet, could that be made available as well to the citizens online, just like the agenda is?
So the Civic Plus system, if we want to switch how, instead of sending these agenda packets out, Civic Plus has an option that you would open up the internet for your meetings and you would just pull up agenda items as they go. The city of Charles City uses that. I checked with other counties and most counties don't send out agenda packets. It's just that it's not a common practice to send those out, from what I understand from other counties. But I think if that's something, I think again, I would put it back towards using our website as the tool for that.
And that'd be fine if it wasn't the website. For me, might get a little off track here, but going back to the website, to me, it's like walking down a long hallway with many doors, and you just got to keep opening doors till you find what you want. I have found the right door, but I can see where it's cumbersome for some people. Yeah, I would. I think there's people out there that would like to see the packet. Well, if that's something you choose to do.
I don't think that's a necessary thing myself. meetings are posted on, this recording is gonna get posted on the website. There's means to access what the supervisors are talking about. I just think more burdens get put on the auditor's office that are unnecessary, I think. That aren't required.
The only thing is the public has a right to know what goes on in here. And by not sending out emails to the people that need agendas, like Bob had his hand up. So if you're gonna eliminate that, the newspaper won't get an agenda notice.
No, I think that's reasonable to send the media those.
So if Bob's getting it, why don't you just keep your same list and let everybody get it? I don't see, the more the public knows, the more the public will get involved, as I guess is my point. So by taking stuff away from certain individuals or certain people, you're not really doing your duty as making the public know.
We're not taking anything away from anyone.
Yeah, you're not gonna send an agenda to anybody on the list. That's,
No, anybody in the last few years since we did this website,
yeah.
I've helped them get on that, and they're always getting their agendas.
How many-
Nobody's getting anything less.
How many people do you notify of the agenda, like the Charles City Press, the Rockford Recorder? How many other people are on that list?
So what is required by Iowa code is if the media has requested the agenda packet or the agenda,
Yeah,
you have to notify them of the meeting.
okay,
So that's why the media is required to get it.
So-
Both of our local newspapers have requested
but
that.
that's the only two you're gonna notify after you. You're not gonna notify anybody else about agendas. We gotta do ourselves, go on the internet, and find the agendas.
No, I was thinking that, Bob, do you care if you find it off the website or we email it to you? Have access to it either way.
You are required, according to the open meetings law, to send it to any press that requested it. We have requested it.
Yeah.
The Attorney General has said that any material that's distributed to members of the board prior to the meeting is a public record and is available to anyone who requests it. And it certainly helps me and other members of the media anticipate what the meeting is going to be about when we have that advance. But legally, that information is available to anyone who requests it.
Yeah. So if somebody gets an agenda sent out and they would like a Morgan to send the agenda packet, she probably could just send it to them as well. It is not the practice that we have had to send agenda packets out other than to those media. There's a radio, there's 2 radio stations and the 2 newspapers that get our agenda packets. But it might be something Morgan could have explored again through the website option that Civic Plus offers. Might be another option. I just don't, I guess I said what I would like to say.
It is public information.
Yep.
But it's not easily accessible to all of the public. Supervisors obviously get it, the press gets it, the radio stations get it. But not everybody in the public that wants it can easily get it, it's my understanding. So.
Other than John Zimmerman, I have not had anybody request the agenda packet.
So how many are on
Just
your
the
list?
agendas.
How many are you gonna eliminate by not sending out an agenda?
As far as sending out an agenda, we're not eliminating anybody.
Well, yeah, but you said you're not gonna send them out to individual emails anymore.
But we put it in the website.
I know it, but if you don't look at the website, you're not gonna get an agenda notice.
But if you're looking at your email, you're on the internet. And you're gonna get that notice in an email. Similar, I mean, you get a notice that an agenda is out there through the Civic Plus, it automatically sends you an email. Here's a click on this link to get your agenda. And you find your agenda there. So nobody is not going to have access to that agenda.
Well, I understand that, but now they get a notice on their email that the agenda's there. How
And they
many
will.
people are you gonna eliminate by not emailing those agendas out?
0.
So everybody's still gonna get a notice? No, they're not.
If they do the notify me, yes, they will.
Okay, that's what I'm worried about. You're talking about no longer emailing an agenda to whoever's on your list that requested one. I know you're required by law to the newspaper. How many citizens are you not gonna send an email to after you change it? Is there
If
20,
anyone
30,
goes to
50?
the auditor or to any supervisor and request an agenda, we can all show them how they can get an agenda. Nobody is being,
You're steering them back to the website to get it.
yeah.
I think that's the issue, that the website isn't as readily available as an email. I mean, you can be driving down the road with your truck and you can get a sound on your phone and you get an email, you can look at it right away.
Yep.
You know what it is. Websites, you have to log in, you have to give it, internet service or whatever. It's not as easy and not as handy. It's
Yeah,
my
sure.
understanding.
You don't have to log into the website.
Right, log into the website.
You don't have to log in.
So,
And you have access to so much more, Gordy. That's what I'm saying, is there's so much more access that the public may want to have. Whether it's conservation or Board of Health or dispatch, communications advisory board. There's just so much more that they may be interested in. I think it's the best option myself because their fingers are accessible to so many things and they get those notices automatically.
You can't answer me how many people you send an agenda notice out to now.
Well, I send it to all of our department heads, but they all have access to that website as well.
Okay, and then besides the press,
Yeah.
how many of those are you sending out?
I don't know, but I
No longer gonna
notified all of them 3 weeks ago that if they would have to reach out to the next auditor, because as the board of supervisor, I won't be sending that to them. And so that they would need to reach out to Morgan if they want her to do anything, but my recommendation is that they all go to that website and get it. It is not a hard process by any means to get that.
We have a difference of opinion here on how easy it is to get to the website. We're not all tech savvy, and I'll be the first to admit that. We need to come to some kind of resolution on how we're gonna continue to notify the public. And my feeling is if they want an email, they should be able to get it via email. So,
I'm saying
that's
they're
my-
getting it via email.
That's my opinion. So, yes.
So they would, essentially, if you requested that, or could this be a solution? If you requested that I'm going to email you the agenda, as a solution, can I then use your email and set you up with the notify me? Because that way it's automatically getting emailed to you. It's not a second step. It's a one-time thing to be on the website and click notify me and sign yourself up. And then that way, nobody's emails get lost because of me. And it takes some of that burden off on getting her list or figuring that out, because regardless, I don't get Gloria's list or that previous list. Regardless, we are starting fresh with however we decide to proceed. So would a solution possibly be that if you did want the email, that then I sign you up on the website with the notify me. I help you, whether you want to do it yourself, or if you come in and I help you sign it up, or you just give me your email and say, please sign me up for X, Y, or Z, whether you just on agendas or other boards. Would that be a possible solution?
It could be.
Because regardless, you'll get an email. The notify me automatically gets you that same email. It's just not me sending it.
Yep.
It would be the website sending it to you. And that would take out human error too.
That sounds reasonable to me.
You're gonna get an email that says, click here to get your agenda, is what she suggested.
Yes, so the email itself will not have an attachment that says the agenda. The email would then it would have a link for you to click that's going to take you to the agenda on the website.
Yep. I'm not worried about me.
I know, but
I get it covered, but there's so many people out here that have a public perception that there's stuff that goes on in this boardroom that they don't get notified of.
We're
Believe me,
we're extremely transparent.
I understand that, but there's
Yeah.
people out there yet that say, well, I didn't know that was going on at that meeting. I said, well, you should have looked at the agenda, you should have come to the meeting.
But Gordy, you're never gonna change that. That's always going to happen. I mean, you could, outside of send them a postcard, that you can't force them to, if you don't send, here's the agenda and a postcard. Doesn't mean they read their mail.
Yep.
You're never gonna be able to get everybody to read every agenda. You know, again, the minimum requirement is to post it on the bulletin
Yep.
board.
And I know people that read that too.
Yeah.
And those people also like the highlighted change.
Yeah, I think that's far and few between, because I think most wouldn't even know there was a change.
We've got to move on. I think we'll do what Morgan suggested, and at some point in time, we'll find out if it's working or not.
There you go.
So, item number 9.
Let's see, I was just gonna check. So are we okay with? Are we gonna change number 8? Stay on the website?
Well, to do what Morgan suggested, send in an email with the link to the website, right? That's what she suggested.
I am suggesting that we sign you up on the website so you get the notified emails. That email would not.
We'll try that and see how it works.
Okay, so you and her will work on updating all these policy changes?
Yep.
Okay.
Item number 9, review action
Let's see.
regarding board of supervisor appointments.
Can we finish the, I have some other things on.
Oh, number 8, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So number 15, under that meetings section is, it's always best for only one person at a time to have the floor and speak without interruption. As such, any member of the board, county official, or public shall raise their hand and be recognized by the chair before speaking. Especially with the meetings from the ordinance, the wind energy ordinance, I had several people that complained about how those meetings were ran and having to raise their hand and some rudeness to some of that process. And I think with technology, because we're doing a telephone and we've got Zoom, it's very important for everyone to wait their turn to talk. But and you and I talked about this a while back, that so many people thought it was, they were treated rudely with that raising hand type thing. I think today has been a good example how we can interact with the public and not have to raise your hand. But might be that the chair has to maybe recognize that people are not to interrupt and let someone finish. And I would consider, I would like this to be considered as being reworded. There were just examples of things where someone would raise their hand and the chair might say something like, recognizing whoever for the first time, and then maybe they'd raise their hand again. Chair recognizes for the second time and the third time, and things like that. And a lot of people thought that was very standoffish, very cold, how those meetings can be ran at times. And I've been sitting at a table with the supervisors for 20 years. And I will say it used to be like you were sitting at your dining room table and you could have these nice discussions with the public, and it was a very welcoming environment. I think we've lost that to some degree.
I don't know how you would reword that, but like I said, we talked about that. I certainly would like to get back to that more impersonal type situation, give and take, without all the formality, and if it's possible, but it'll be probably a little bit more burden on the chair to put everybody in their corner at the bell, you know,
Yeah,
and stuff, but I would just like that, okay?
Be in favor of more personal interaction. too,
Yeah.
And it's,
I don't know.
lack of a better definition, kind of a cold
Yes, yeah, just,
interaction.
that's that is a reference to number 15 and number 17. And on 17, I'll just expand on that one. It says, all comments from the public shall be made from the podium at the front of the table. Well, here again, we didn't have the public stand up to the podium. I think that makes it a little more impersonal also, and if we could make this a little different.
and if we can't hear them, we'll ask them to speak up.
That is a critical part of it, though.
Yeah.
Because the speaker's right there. And so if you're back in that corner,
Right.
that might not, we might hear it, but that recording may not pick it up. So it is, I think,
Not gonna be perfect, but I would like to try.
Jim, you had a comment?
Just a quick comment, without taking this podium, I know by listening on the phone, you can't hear very good
Really?
throughout the
Back.
room. You know, there's somebody sitting back there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the Zoom is like that way.
the Zoom recording seems to pick it up fairly well, except for way back in the rooms. But I hear people on the phone or connected during a meeting that they sometimes aren't hearing things. And I don't know what the answer is to that.
Well, this room has always been kind of hard to hear. There's noise coming from this unit back here. I think they've been trying to do some things to correct that. It hasn't worked 100%, I don't think, but
Better.
That's better. So, I do, yeah, all we can do is do better.
so.
And Zoom meetings in this room are way better than Zoom meetings in the EOC.
I understand that, yeah.
Yeah. But I think I don't know how you want to reword 15 and 17, but at least if the chair, if someone is way back, they might be asked to come up to the podium, or speak louder or whatever.
We're aware of it, you know, try our best.
Do we need to change the language, or we can just make the adjustments in person?
I
We're
don't
not
know, it
violating it.
requires a motion to change that, or do we just
I think it's,
do it?
however, with all these changes that you just bring amendments to the policy at a future meeting, but, you know, it shall raise their hand and be recognized by the chair before speaking.
Yeah.
So I think you would want to change that because it's a shall. I'm not quite sure how you might reword that, but it's shalls in there. Shalls mean you have to do it. And they shall come to the podium, so you have to come to the podium. So I think it could be massaged there. A podium is available maybe, and the public will be expected to speak up at meetings or come closer to the board or something like that. I think this just needs to be redone a little bit.
Yeah, I agree, however.
Well, I think, I understand you're gonna reword some of that, but I think some of that has to do with location and how many people you have. Cause if you go out to the fairgrounds, you better have them people get recognized and come forward, because if you don't, I mean, you're gonna have just nothing but chaos. So I think there's a time and a place where you need to say, if you're gonna speak, you need to come to the podium. If there's 100 people in the room, I think there's a time and a place where you can do just like we're doing right now.
Time, place, and manner, in other words.
Yes, and that I think should be left to the discretion of the chairman and the board.
Yeah, we can, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think just every situation is gonna be a little different, so I think leave yourself a little open before you change too much of that.
I agree.
Good thing we don't have your 10:30 meeting.
Ready to move on to number 9?
Yeah.
Review action regarding board of supervisor appointments. Or you provided us with a list. Current appointments.
So, I think that if you look at that, you see that's really heavy there under Dennis. You know, if you look at that
Yeah.
second attachment, not that attachment, but the other attachment. And I'll start out with, I did find one that is not on there. And it's, so I've been the appointed board rep for the Iowa Governmental Health Care Plan. And I would like to stay in that capacity and until Morgan can get more acclimated with the health insurance plans and that type of thing, and then maybe transition that over to Morgan in the future.
Which one's that, Lily?
It's not on there.
Oh, okay.
After I sent this out, I thought, oh, shoot, I am the board rep for that. That could be when you go to the meetings, you only have meetings once a year in February. That's where we'll set the rates for the health insurance plans. For the group, there's like 40, I think we're up to like 48, 49 members in our pool. And it's got supervisors. A county may have a supervisor as a rep. It might have, if the entity has an HR person, it might be their HR person or their benefits person or the county auditor. And what I'd like to see, at least just for this meeting, that or for the February meeting anyway, that I still be the county's rep, and that if Morgan's available to attend that meeting as well, that Morgan would attend that meeting. For example, that's how Chickasaw County has a board of supervisor that's rep, but the auditor also goes to the meeting, and they have spots with 40 some people sitting around the table of the representatives. But then there's other people sitting, like this, to hear what's going on at those meetings. I've served on subcommittees since we've been with IGHCP. You may remember last year we presented information on wellness activities options. And so I'd like to add Iowa Governmental Health Care Board to my list. But then Dennis, your list is awful long.
Yeah, I was looking at this, the NIACOG meetings I've attended over in Mason City. I wouldn't mind giving those to you, Gloria. Take those. I'm an alternate on the regional or the NIACOG alternate in the NIACOG North Central Region Emergency Planning District Committee and NCR Emergency Response Commission. Then the NIACOG Transportation Policy Board. Those two.
And I'm an alternate on both of those, or just the emergency.
You are the
Alternate, transportation. And
My thoughts might be maybe Boyd is the primary and I'm the alternate on those.
So that's fine. Yeah,
Cause you have lots of alternate
I
positions,
know.
but not many full
Yeah.
board, and the alternate is rarely used. I think.
well, if you want to switch to transportation to me, I guess.
the Transportation Policy Board,
Yeah. How often does that meet?
they meet every 3 months, I think, or it's not monthly.
I think I've got it on, I think it's on this page. Yeah, January, April, July, and October is the policy board.
Oh, okay. 3 months. Okay. Why don't you, put me,
So maybe that's just the way we do that is,
just switch the alternates with.
switch the alternates, but then even maybe for the NIACOG board that I'm on, primary, that you be the alternate for that. That's the,
Council of Government,
yeah,
North Iowa Council of Government.
yeah. And then all NIACOG stuff would just be between us two. That'd be all right.
Yeah, that'd be fine with me.
Emergency planning, I would become the primary on that. Is that right?
I'm the alternate for the ambulance commission, but I don't see who's designated to be on that. Oh, I'm right at the top. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That helps your list a little bit there.
And in any of these, like with the Chamber of Commerce, sometimes they have 2 or 3 meetings the same day. Or the
That's what I wondered, they were back to
same-
back.
Yeah, they're back to
Yeah.
back, so it's not like all
Yeah.
those different trips, so that's not a big deal. I'd be okay with that. So,
And that probably, even with that NIACOG, the hazmat one, probably bodes well for you anyway, Boyd, because you are on Emergency Management Commission also. Primary for Emergency Management Commission. Those kind of have similar things there.
So these will be actual board voting.
And also, where it complements with you being on the Transportation Policy Board, is you are also the liaison for Cedar Valley Transportation Center. Maybe it doesn't matter so much, but that's where the engineer is the representative to the Transportation Board, but there's that relationship there with through the Transportation Policy Board. That's where a lot of secondary roads funding comes from. Projects. Cedar Valley Transportation. So that'd be that NIACOG Transportation Policy Board. Yeah, so you've got 2 lists here. One is sorted by the board name and one is sorted by the supervisor appointee.
Somebody will redo this, right?
Yeah. And this will go on the website also.
I just got the feeling we're doing the shell game here and I just lost.
Well, like you have the Emergency Food and Shelter Program. That hasn't met for years. And that one's one that it's based on federal funds that push down if they're available or not available. So that one, so that's one that hardly ever meets.
Okay. So I'm gonna rework that, so I can.
Yep.
but that's doable for me too, that gives me a little break, so.
Yeah.
Mr. Boyd?
I'm just gonna throw this out there but that seems to be way too many meetings and way too much time. Is there any way you can streamline that and have a representative from those come to this meeting and tell you what's going on. Jared Peters proposed that when he ran for supervisor, I don't know, 10 years ago. He said if they want a piece of the county budget, they better come to the county table. Why can't you eliminate you people running all over North Iowa 5 nights a week?
Well, so
We've been discussing that.
for example, Nyakog's an 8-county area.
Yep.
That's why you have it at the central location in Mason City, because it's not just a
Okay.
Floyd County thing. And it's not that we're asking for their money. I mean, we do, or we're
Okay.
not, we do fund Nyakog, all the counties do, based on a formula that you got that letter the other day. But where our bigger concern is that we're at the table so that we can get secondary road money, which is hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars for projects.
Yep.
So we're not gonna get them to come here. We need to go to those.
Okay, that's only one.
But I've said this before, all these county boards that were, these liaison appointments have been made for Board of Health, Conservation, Veteran Affairs. Those are dangerous. I've mentioned before how these liaison got titles, maybe 10 years ago, for the supervisors to go to those meetings and then bring back what goes on. Well, oftentimes when you come back to this meeting, you're saying, yeah, I went to the Veteran Affairs Commission, you might talk about what they did, or I went to, Conservation
There's
and,
nothing,
yeah.
we don't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really, what are you gaining here? And what it used to be before the liaisons was, those reps would come to the supervisors meeting, once a month, or
Yep.
whatever worked. And so I really do think you could eliminate those liaison positions that are for county boards. Like
I
County
agree.
Board of Health.
Especially the ones that we don't vote on, just like you said.
Yeah,
We're agreeing. We've been talking
I
about
believe
that.
some of that could be streamlined because
It's,
everybody else has got a life to live.
But there's nothing to say that if a supervisor wanted to go to the Conservation Board meeting or go
You
to the
could go.
VA meeting, it's a public meeting.
Oh, absolutely,
Go.
absolutely. But I haven't never seen Adam Sears at very many of these meetings.
Not since they did this liaison thing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see Adam Sears here.
I agree.
I'd like to see Adam Sears' budget, to tell you the truth.
There's very few boards or commissions I sit on where I have a vote. The landfill is one of them. I don't have a vote at any of the Chamber of Commerce meetings for the airport or, so
Yeah.
but I understand what you're saying, and what if you look at their agenda, they'll have on there, update from the city and the county reps, and so Mayor Dean Andrews will update Chamber on what's going on in the city, and I try to do the same with the county.
Yep.
But
And I think those are still okay if we want to do that liaison to the chamber meeting and to the airport authority. I don't know that we're not the airport authority isn't the county.
No.
We fund it, but it's not the county,
We
but
give
all
them
those others, county departments.
But if you could set up a rotational schedule of some time,
That's what you
like
should do.
one day a month, you hear from the landfill.
Oh, I don't
And
think you're probably gonna.
another week you hear from the airport, and then you hear from Adam Sears on conservation. Set that up, let them people come to you.
I don't know that
I
you
really-
get that happening.
yeah, that might be kind of hard,
Yeah.
Gordy, but
I would sure work harder.
But I would say though, definitely, what if you did baby steps? What if you did, we remove Board of Health, Veteran Affairs, and Conservation?
Yep.
Those are our county employees that we would have them to come to this meeting.
There you go.
Yeah, good.
Start somewhere.
But Airport Authority and
Landfill.
landfill,
Yeah.
that wouldn't
There-
work.
That wouldn't.
we don't fund landfill. We don't give one nickel to landfill.
Yeah.
So why would,
Exactly. That's a good place to start. I mean, you gotta start somewhere and.
Like I sit on the Board of Health, or I go to their meetings, and I'm not a voting board member. Again, I give them an update on what's happening countywide, but I don't have any voting rights.
Yeah.
I would have if they came here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with you, Gordy, that's a good place to start.
take a vote of any kind, or is that just
Well, the whole thing is just what we're approving on the
approving
list.
on, right? Yeah. the
So
whole
just
thing.
as a list, so I've taken off the liaison to Board of Health, Veteran Affairs and Conservation. And then shift in the NIACOG ones.
Yeah.
Maybe
to
we can,
just-
maybe we can communicate our thoughts the next time we attend those meetings. We're gonna be asking you to attend ours.
Yeah, we could do
The,
that.
you know, the Board of Health and the ones that are already named off here. Conservation.
Okay.
Was the chair the one to touch base with them and tell them what meeting you'd like them to come to?
Yeah.
Right.
So I would make a motion that we approve the list with the changes we've talked about. But we'll just update that list with the, and the changes would be the Iowa Governmental Healthcare Board, to me, and swapping those NIACOG ones and removing those three liaisons. And so I would approve the list for otherwise everything like that.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Gloria, or by Carr, second by Campbell. Any more discussion on these commissions and boards? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Item number 10, review action regarding naming the official county newspapers per Iowa Code 349.1. That's pretty simple. It's the Charles City Press, the North Springs Advertiser, and Rockford Tribune.
The North Springs Rockford
North Springs.
Register.
North
It's
Springs
one
Rockford.
Yeah, North Springs Record Register, I think is what they call it.
North Springs Rockford Register.
This one now. Okay. Between North
North
Springs.
Springs, Rockford, this same paper.
Yeah.
They've been one for
Out of
20 years
Northwood.
that I've been doing this.
Yeah, so,
And I did provide in your packet the code section that requires, based on our population, if we have to, we have to.
I read that.
his complaint.
I would make a motion that we name the Charles City Press and the North Springs Rockford Register as the official county newspapers.
Motion by Carr, second by Campbell. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Official newspapers would be the Charles City Press and the North Springs and Rockford Register. Item 11, review action regarding annual approval of the Veterans Affairs Director per Iowa Code 35B.6(1)A. Our director is Todd Schriever. I attend VA meetings once a month. Appears to me that Todd's doing everything okay. Don't have any issues. So,
I make a motion that we approve Todd Schriever as Floyd County Veteran Affairs Executive Director for 2025.
second. Motion by Carr, second by Kiefer. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 12, review action regarding city and non-elected appointments to the NIACOG board.
From our previous meeting, we talked about, we divvied up a little bit on contacts for different appointments, and I had the one for this one. And I've heard back from Sharon and Abnett and from J.R. Ackley. That Sharon still would like to participate as the city representative. Sharon serves on the Rockford City Council, so she fits that category and has been serving since she's been, I believe, a city council member. And J.R. Ackley has been on the board for many years. He used to be a city rep when he was a council member with the city of Marble Rock, and then when he was no longer on there, he was appointed as a non-elected representative per NIACOG's categories. And he responded that he would like to continue serving as well. I've not heard anything from Myrtle or anyone from Nyakog if there's any issues with anybody. And so with that, I would recommend that we appoint Sharon and Abnett as the city rep and J.R. Ackley as the non-elected representative to the Nyakog board.
Motion by Carr, second by Campbell. Any other conversation or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 13, review action regarding appointment to Nyakog Revolving Loan Fund Committee.
That was on my list. That one is Patrick Gable. Patrick has served for many years. When I spoke with him, I asked him, I said, how frequently do you meet? And he said, we meet when there's money. So we can go for a few years without meeting, depending on how they get their revolving fund dollars. So I think he said like the last year or two that they haven't met. He's very willing to continue serving on that board as well, on that committee. So if there's no questions about any of that, I would move that we appoint Pat Gable to the Nyakog Revolving Loan Fund Committee.
Motion by Carr, second by Campbell. Any discussion?
I guess I got a question. You're making these appointments, are they compensated mileage?
No, I don't think they would get. I don't think they've got mileage. Well,
So they're doing this freebie.
Sharon and Abnett, you may turn it in as a city rep to city council. The supervisors going to those meetings, turn their mileage into the county for reimbursement. Pat Gable, I don't
There's
know
no
that
per
he has.
diem per meeting,
I don't think
just
that,
mileage.
I don't think Nyakog pays anything.
I'm just asking you. These people are compensated, they're putting them on board. I wonder if it's just a freebie thing. Why are they volunteering?
Community minded people.
Well, I understand that.
Everybody does everything for money.
That's why I'm here too, and I'm not getting paid. I'm community minded.
Bless your heart.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 13, review action regarding appointment to the Nyakog Revolving Loan Fund Committee. Is that the one we just did?
That's
the one we just did.
Okay. Item 14, review action regarding appointments to MAP 21 Enhancement Board and MAP 21 Tech Board.
So those have always just been the conservation director for MAP 21. That's what they are working on, is park funding type things, and the county engineer to the MAP 21 Tech Board. I've not spoken with either of them, but they both served in that capacity. I know Jacob is a short-lived one, but that motion has always been that the assistant county engineers are alternates. So when Jacob's role is done, if there would happen to be a meeting, one of the two assistants in the office would fill that role until we secure a. So with that, I would make a motion that we appoint Conservation Director Adam Sears to the MAP 21 Enhancement Board and the County Engineer Jacob Page and Assistant County Engineers as alternates to the MAP 21 Tech Board.
A motion by Carr, second by Campbell, to appoint Adam Sears and Jacob Page to the MAP 21 Enhancement Board and MAP 21 Tech Board. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 15, review action reporting, appointing a non-board supervisor member and alternate to the Southwest Bypass TIF Board.
So this is a board that requires two county representatives. And so we have always had the auditor as one representative, and in the list above, you approved me as the representative to the Southwest Bypass TIF Board. So the Morgan would be my recommendation for the second board member, and then the board's the Jesse Holm as the alternate for that. And the this potentially could be a short-lived board. There has been talk about this is the Southwest Bypass TIF is a shared TIF between the county and the city. It was developed, I believe, around like 1993 or 1994. It's a perpetual TIF, meaning it has no end to it. My understanding that originally back in the 90s, when this was established, was to kind of aid the city for capacity, so that the projects could be developed in that area. And this is all of the like Zoetis, Cambridge, Vita, or Trelleborg, the Kroll Ready Mix, that area out there is where we're talking about. It's been a year since we've even had a TIF board meeting, but the conversations have been that there's really not a need any longer for the county to be a part of this. So that capacity issue isn't a thing, and they've been successful in developing projects to increase our valuations, and so that helps that whole debt capacity issue as well. I don't know that that will happen, but that potentially is something that can come down, that there would be hearings to remove the county from the Southwest TIF board. We would still have the opportunity to give our input if there were projects that they were using TIF dollars to pay for. But so that's to come potentially, but as it is, we still need to do the appointments today because it is still in existence as a joint board.
So do we have a candidate for a person to appoint?
Morgan Miller would be
No, okay, Morgan, okay.
the non-board representative, and Jesse Holm would be an alternate to either Morgan or me if we're not available. I would make that motion to do that.
Motion by Supervisor Carr, second by Campbell, to appoint Morgan Miller as a non-BOS member and alternate, and Jesse Holmes as an alternate to the Southwest Bypass TIF. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item 16, review action regarding appointments to the Cedar Valley Transportation Center Joint Board.
So this one has been the county engineer since its inception. This is the one where up above, I guess we didn't talk about it. That'd be another liaison one that potentially could be dropped, but we didn't think of that at that time. But the county engineer is the representative, and the assistant engineers are the alternates in the absence of the county engineer. I would make a motion to appoint county engineer Jacob Page and the assistant county engineers as alternates to this Cedar Valley Transportation Center Joint Board. This is a city, state, county board.
Second. What happens if we, Jacob will be gone in 8 days? We may or may not have enough here.
That's why the alternates
Yeah,
are the
and that'd be
assistant county
John.
engineers.
Yeah, what's his fellow's name in the office? John.
There's Jake and Dwayne.
Dwayne, I'm sorry.
Do you have hesitation with that, Floyd?
Second. Okay. Motion by Carr, second by Campbell. During the appointment to the Cedar Valley Transportation Center Joint Board, Jacob is a representative and John as the alternate.
No, John. There's Jake and Dwayne.
Dwayne.
You don't need to put the name, just assistant engineers, whichever one. But not John, it's Jake. There's a Jake and a Jake.
Item 17, or all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 17, review action regarding the 2025 appointment for power of attorney for Circle Farm Service Agency, FSA-211 documents.
This we talked about at our planning meeting that had been at Hewitt, and we thought that that was a good fit for Boyd being a farmer, and that'd be a good fit for Boyd. So I would move that we approve to appoint Supervisor Campbell as a power of attorney for the Floyd County business with Farm Service Ag Agency for fiscal year 2025.
I will second that. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There was a motion by Carr, second by Kiefer. Item 18. Review action regarding approval of Floyd County investment policy.
I did visit with Jessie about this, and she said she has no changes to the policy.
Okay.
And so I think it's good to go. Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the Floyd County investment policy.
Second.
Motion by Kiefer, second by Carr. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 19, review action regarding resolution 01-25, naming depositories for 2025 for the treasurer, sheriff, and recorder.
So I've reached out to the recorder, the treasurer, and the sheriff. And this is the same banks and the same maximum limits that they can invest in those entities, or have funds held in those entities, as written in the resolution there. Good with that, I would recommend that we approve resolution 0525, naming the depositories for 2025 for the treasurer, sheriff, and recorder.
Motion by Supervisor Carr, second by Campbell. Any other comments, discussion? So this is a resolution. Morgan, you want to read the roll call?
You're just gonna state the names of, usually what I would do is whoever made the motion, I would call for that vote first.
Okay. So Carr,
Yes.
Boyd,
Yes.
Kiefer,
Yes. Item 20, review action regarding resolution 02-25 number and appointments of deputies, assistants, clerks, attorney, auditor, and sheriff. That's listed in the packet. Staff under each of the attorney staff, assistant Randy Tilton, clerk positions full-time Elizabeth Connect, secretary, office manager, and Allison Hocking, administrative assistant. Clerk positions part-time Chantel Rimmer, administrative assistant. Auditor staff, the auditor assistant is Amanda Tylen. Clerk positions full-time Jennifer Bauer and Alexis Gallup. Clerk positions part-time to be determined. Sheriff staff, Chief Deputy Patrick Shirley. Other deputies, Brian Tiedemann, Travis Marsh, Joshua Patriot, Danny Sargent, Chad Weber, Lucas Johnson, Joel Schmidt, Cody Van Horn, Luke Checkfield, and Dylan Isaacson. Clerk positions, Vanessa Wilson, Melissa Pitzenberger. Full-time jailers, Taylor Isaacson, Diana Nickham, Jessica Reed, Linda Ketchings Rounds, Matthew Bolden, Jessica Riviera, Aurora Kramer, and Logan Wilkie.
I'll make the motion.
Approve those.
Motion by Campbell, second by Carr. Morgan, please read that.
Campbell,
I make the motion.
yeah, that's not your vote.
Oh, aye.
Aye.
Getting gross in reading, sorry.
Kiefer.
Aye. Item 21, review action regarding publication of gross wages for 2024.
Iowa code requires that wages be published. We've always done it on a calendar year. It could be done on a fiscal year. We've always just done it at the end of a calendar year. I would move to direct the auditor to publish the gross wages for all county employees for a calendar year 2024. And it goes as part of the minutes.
I'll second that.
Motion by Carr, second by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 22, review action regarding sharing or hiring a county engineer.
Okay, so I put in your packet, I just finished this up last night, so I got it in your packet, in your hard copy. So I attended the meeting last Friday with Cerro Gordo County. We had their supervisor-elect, Carl Ganab, their supervisor, Chris Watts, and their county engineer, Brandon Billings, and I can't think of, Tom is there. I believe he has some role in HR. We're at that meeting. And what was proposed, what currently is happening in Cerro Gordo County is Brandon makes $140,000 a year. Brandon's proposed that they receive, that he would get a salary of $180,000 if we share. And then he does have an agreement with the Board of Supervisors already for fiscal year 26 of a $5,000 increase. So what you've got in your packet here shows the current proposal of $180,000 with FICA and IPERS, and their estimate, they didn't give me a full dollar estimate of what their benefits are, but they estimated it would be around $20,000. And so that brings that number, with just those numbers, at $230,762. They would propose a 50-50 split. The hours would be split 50-50. So that would be $115,381 each county. I added a number there for not necessarily knowing what that might be, but I added cost for vehicle because there would be extra mileage for a vehicle to travel back and forth between Cerro Gordo and here, or you'd be paying mileage for him to come here and get the county vehicle. They talked like what might work for them. I think they talked about at their first meeting that the vehicle, Floyd County's vehicle, be left at their courthouse, and that Brandon would just bring it from here to there. So that's kind of where I threw in that extra mileage because you'd have 30 miles a day, 60 miles a day of that vehicle going back and forth 3 times a week. And so I just threw a number in there, and I may be high, I may be low, I don't know, but I just put 10,000 miles. So it's 3 times a week, going back and forth between the 2 counties, just with the vehicle. That's not taking the vehicle and going to a job site somewhere and looking at anything. And so I figured 10,000 miles, an additional 10,000 miles on that vehicle, just that going back and forth 3 times a week. And then I just used the state reimburses 50 cents. And I just use that as a place card because that is intended to be what the cost would be for wear and tear on a vehicle and your gas mileage. So I just threw $5,000 additional dollars in there. So that puts Floyd County's amount up to $120,381. Then I threw in there July 1 using those exact same numbers, but the additional $5,000 that Sarah Gordo has already negotiated with. And that would be, I don't know if I would think we probably want to throw, usually we'll do a 6-month increase with employees, but I didn't throw anything in there because I didn't know. I just thought I'd just do this without throwing anything in there, but we'd be sharing the 5,000 split no matter what, because it's 50% of the cost for him, other than that vehicle cost. And so if you throw that extra 2,500 for each of us to pay, with and the same vehicle cost of 5,000, that puts Floyd County's cost at $122,881, and 2,500 less for.
I was gonna figure 122 on it.
Yeah. That's our cost. Yeah. And then I only have one extra sheet. If somebody wants this is up here. If there's any extras in that. Then I put the cost of Jacob as it is today. His current salary is $111,395, and I've added the FICA, IPERS, and our actual cost for health and dental. And that puts him at today, for an annual salary plus benefits, is $152,075. I don't know what we might be able to hire a single engineer for, so I just threw a few different examples in there. One at just throwing it at 112,000, 120,000, 140,000. Below that is the population rank of county engineers that are just single county engineers, 5 above and 5 below our county population. And I'm just gonna pick the 54th one. Kossuth County makes $142,000 a year. And, you know, we talk about things being apples and oranges at times. So, you know, you have your population, but you look at just Cerro Gordo County alone. Cerro Gordo has, I think they said, close to the same number of roads as Floyd County, because you've got larger city populations that they're not responsible for. But they have more bridges than us. But I don't remember what they said the roads were.
They had 222 20-foot bridges.
And we were 170.
171.
Yeah. But then, so I'm just gonna look at Kossuth County number for a single county engineer. They're ranked 54 in population, and they're paying 142,000. But they're the double county size, so they've got more roads, more bridges, that type of thing. But you look at Jefferson County, that's ranked 48 in population, so a little bit higher population than us. Their engineer is paid $135,875. You look at that top 5, the highest, everyone is paid higher than what Jacob has paid as a county engineer. With the highest in the 5 above us in population is 150,000. You look at the 5 below us, and the highest, there's everyone is paid higher than Jacob in the 5 populations below us as well, with the highest being Hamilton County with $147,000. So we're obviously low on what we're paying our county engineer, if that's the factors that you look at. When you look at the dual county engineers, I put our proposal there of 180,000, and that does put, if we share, it does put Brandon as the highest paid engineer in the state of Iowa. The highest paid engineer. And then the 5 below that are the 10 counties that share an engineer. So there's 5 engineers, 1 engineer per 2 counties. And those numbers are there, with the lowest being Calhoun and Sac at 128,921.52, and Appaloosa Wapello at 135,225.48. And the highest being Mitchell and Worth counties shared engineer is 154,116.11. I throw those in a ranking order, just taking those population rankings of each county and just averaging the 2. And so when you look at that number, that puts Cerro Gordo County's higher population ranking of 13 and our ranking of 49 as the highest paid engineer, but we're the highest ranking in that average of population. So it's just a number pulled. It's maybe not a good number to average by, but it does show that it maybe is rightful that we would pay, if we shared, we'd probably be paying more than those 5 counties below. So what I kind of teeter-totter here with is, would we be able to get an engineer for 112,000, a single engineer for that, or 140,000 a year, those benefits? But kind of what I struggle with here is for a 20-hour engineer to pay $122,000 starting July 1 or more, if we would bump up something at a 6-month increase, look like 5,000 that Cerro Gordo County is doing, and looking at what our ranking is for our engineer, we're going to be lucky to get someone for 100. If we had someone for 112,000, we'd be lucky, I think. I honestly, looking at this, don't really see where as much of a benefit to share a county engineer, where I land on this. I don't.
These numbers tell a story. And quite honestly, initially, I thought maybe sharing would be a good thing for the county if we could save some money, but we're not saving much money yet, or hardly any. And we're getting half-time engineer.
My concern is that I've seen this before. I mean, God forbid we get anything like Northwest Iowa got this last spring, but you got a lot of bridges and roads washed out and confusion. It would be nice to have, I mean, if Floyd County gets a Cerro Gordo, we're gonna have one big mess. And morale, with the employees, I just think it's, personally, you need to have a boss there. I just, don't want to be penny wise, pound foolish, I lean towards us trying to find our own engineer. Savings, then there's, we got an email from a just an engineer in Cassuth County wanting to application.
Adam Miller.
Is that his name? Adam Miller. He's an assistant, is that right?
He's been an assistant for 16 years,
16 years, which is,
or he's had his, let me take that back. He's been assistant for, I think, 20 years, but I think 16 years, he's been a professional engineer.
oh. Okay, I didn't know that.
He's a native of Green. I think that was maybe one of the things appealing to him was to come
Closer home.
closer.
And plus, we haven't put it out there yet, you know, right?
And we haven't
Advertised for engineer.
My understanding is there's currently 4 engineering positions open in the state of Iowa right now. Maybe you guys know something other than that, I don't know.
I think it's just four.
4.
And they're south and southwest Iowa.
I've been preaching about House File 718 and all the unfunded mandates that we're being hit with. And, where you're gonna, in 3 months, we're gonna be sitting at the table here facing a public hearing with Gordy and his group saying, you need to cut my taxes. And, so we need to figure out, through this process, how do we do all this?
It's hard not seeing though. I mean, we're gonna be in this budget thing.
Yeah.
And I have not been through it here yet, but I understand budgets and what we can do and can't do and yeah,
It's a tough
it is gonna
situation.
be tough, but I don't think we should not try.
Brody, you attended that workshop meeting with Saragordo County. They telling us kind of indirectly that maybe they're not that interested in sharing.
No, I think Brandon's very receptive to sharing. And I think it's just, what I got out of the meeting last Friday is it's just something new, that.
Well, Brandon's interested because he's gonna take a 40,000 increase in pay.
Well,
But he's taking on
when we had that meeting together over there, I mean, let's face it, I mean, there's a reason you have county engineers for your county, and I asked him if I thought he was, or he thought he was fully employed, and well, yeah. I mean, how else would he done it?
He wasn't underworked.
Well, yeah, so now we're gonna have 2 counties and I mean, it's like everything else. It all sounds good, we can share an audit or a record. You know what I mean? They're so important, these positions. And lean towards having our own.
Yeah. I mean, the dollars are definitely different if you look at, if we're gonna pay a single engineer 185,000 or 140,000 versus 122,000. That's you got a savings there.
But the one thing, too, on that, and I wish I would have more time to work with Jacob. I mean, he seems to have been pretty instrumental in getting us money, right, on these projects.
He got the RISE grants.
The grants
yeah.
that we went through, and that's really important. And I'd like to find another way.
Yeah. So what Brandon, so what you're talking about is how I felt at this meeting, that I don't know that there's enough here to warrant sharing an engineer. And Brandon would also be willing to contract until, if we decide we want to try the single option first, he'd be willing to contract with us. He was gonna get some agreements from other counties that have shared in that purpose during the interim, and it would be between Dusty and Jacob, we hired Scott Sweet from WHKS, and I got that acronym right, I'm not sure, but the issue with that though is Scott would not be able to sign off on lettings, from what I understand. But because some of these projects require a county engineer sign off, professional engineer sign off, the PE sign off. And so that's what I understand from Jacob, that we couldn't do like a Scott Sweet thing. We'd be held up with lettings. He said, maybe he said it in one of the meetings here too, that I don't remember, he's got a letting coming up, but the state even indicated that they were going to let him do this one letting, but because he was going to be gone just days after, they were concerned they were maybe not going to let him do that letting, sign off that letting, because he wouldn't be here for the project. So, but from what I understand, that person like Scott Sweet could sign off as project work progressed, but not on lettings.
We got an email from Jacob, right? I think we all did, from Jacob recommending someone that can please contact Nikki Stan with the local systems office of Iowa DOT with any questions or help needed in hiring a new engineer. Projects will be delayed if an engineer is not named by January 17th, 2025.
Yeah.
So we need to have somebody on board to keep these projects moving, correct, Dwayne?
Yep.
Is what this is about, right?
Yep. And that's what Brandon would be willing to do if we want to explore a single county
He can do
option.
that. That's
Okay.
That's way cool.
So we would have to have on a contract either for probably January 13th meeting, we'd want to have a contract ready to go. If the single option is what we want to explore. And then we could get, and Nikki's available to answer any of those questions on who can sign the if I've misstated anything from the way I think I heard it from Jacob about a county engineer, like someone like Brandon could, if we contract them, we'd be covered.
Okay.
But not with a Scott Sweet thing like we've done in the past.
Okay. And Brandon's willing to do that? Brandon's
willing to do it. Don't know what the contract might look like, but he's gonna pull something together for that. And I do think that, for Saragordo County, this is a brand new thing for them. They've had their own county engineer. I feel it in my time that when we had a shared engineer with Chickasaw County, it, for the most part, was a successful arrangement. But it's a brand new territory for Saragordo County to explore that type of thing. So, so I can understand their hesitation in that. And I think that's what we heard that previous Friday, was that hesitation. So what I would recommend is that we work with Nikki and get a notice out for an engineer, single full-time engineer for Floyd County, and start shopping that way and see.
Should we ask any reason we can't interview this fellow from Cassuth County that is already?
I think we explore, get the ad out there. Yes, you can interview, but you potentially would have others as well. I don't want it to sound like you've got a locked in person for the job because you haven't even interviewed the guy.
No, I know, but he showed interest and we need to respond.
He's been responded to.
Oh,
I
yeah.
told him the last meeting that I responded to him.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, and he called me. Actually, he called me when I was on my way to Mason City last Friday.
Oh,
So we
okay.
had a nice visit. Yeah.
And he's been there 20 years?
I think he said 21 years, maybe, something like that.
Start.
Yeah.
I think so.
I guess my question is, as soon as you accepted the resignation from Jacob, why wasn't this put out there and advertised for?
Because
Why did we wait? We wasted a month already.
No, we got into a sharing thing, and we were gonna approach Saragordo, and that's what we did by appointing Gloria to go over and be a liaison for us, but
There's nothing wrong with putting this out there and getting some resumes and then decide what you were gonna do, whether to accept or not, because you wasted time.
I would disagree with you, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah. And another thing, I know some employees at Mitchell County. And they say a shade engineer, they hire more assistants. First thing, your county engineer's gone 2 days a week. He's got meetings, supervisor meeting in Worth County, then he's got a supervisor meeting in Mitchell County. So there's 2 days a week right there, he don't do nothing. So that only leaves 3 days a week left. That's why a shared engineer, from what I understand from the information in Mitchell County, the top people would like to say it works, but it ends up being about the same scenario as Todd Pritchard. Part-time county attorney, we hired more assistants. Part-time county engineer, you hired more assistants. Pritchard asked for more assistants, Gloria, you know that.
Pritchard has one full-time county attorney.
Yeah.
And we have a small contract with Mark Hewell to do a few things. We're not paying more for county attorneys for that, but that's another agenda item. But I would like to say, I appreciate your passion for saying we need a full-time engineer, because I hear that's what you're saying. So I appreciate when you come to meetings in a few months and you say, you gotta cut this budget, that you are recognizing what the supervisors are up against.
This is not cutting the budget, I'll guarantee you. And you might get a supervisor to come in here for Jacob's wage or a little more. This tells me black and white that we're gonna pay more and get less.
Well, the way it looks on the surface right now, yeah, and I think we're all kind of in agreement with Gloria here, that what she found out on the fact finding thing, that we need to pursue the one and go from there. And I think we get this out quickly and about what we can do, you know.
Yeah, but I think that this was a responsible due diligence on the Board of Supervisors to have the conversation. Again, we had a successful relationship with a shared county engineer. And I think that if we wouldn't have explored this, and it's not over yet, if we find that we can't get somebody and we feel it's still best to go here, and we're gonna be a little closer, a little farther in our budget process to know is if we gotta hire somebody for $140,000, now we're talking $63,000 in a budget more than what we're currently paying. Where are we at then? You know, what's
Cut it somewhere else.
Yeah, Gordy, it's really easy for you to say that.
Yep.
Yep.
Don't worry, I'll be here.
Yeah. And nobody wants their services cut. And
Well, I think we'll be asking all department heads to look for some efficiencies in their departments.
I believe that.
yeah,
And they can probably expect that.
and hopefully Jacob's budget shows some cuts as well. And you know, we'll find that out. He'll be here on Monday next week to show what he can offer for cuts as well. I will tell you, this is a budget the next few years are like we've never experienced as a county before. Your guys' budget is going to increase just because of the unfunded mandates. My budget has increases because of, or I shouldn't say, the auditor's budget has increases because of unfunded mandates. We no longer, the state is not backfilling military. The state is not funding the the Homestead 65. That comes out of local dollars. This is a budget like no other.
Yep, well, same way in farming. You know, it's gonna be, difficult, it's gonna be challenging, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So does this need a motion then to proceed?
I think we need to put a range out there in a motion on what we're looking at for a county engineer and publish notice accordingly for hiring and get it out there on that county engineer's site as well.
When you said a range,
What range are we looking at? for a single county engineer salary.
You really need to do that, right? I mean, is that,
Depending on experience, right? I mean,
well,
That's why it's a range.
yeah. A lot of considerations here. Experience. What else? Are all these engineers as what Jacob did for us in getting this grant, you know, is that something special that we found in him? Or, I mean, are all these engineers attuned to this? I mean, I guess there was only 4 counties that got this, right? From what Jacob got in the grant.
I think this one was, yeah, maybe you guys know some of this better back there, but my understanding there,
3 counties we were with.
was it 3 counties, this one, and then there's that second round also that's being applied for.
Yep, but we weren't included in that.
Oh, we didn't get included in that one. But is it that the association or the affiliate has been, I don't know that I want to use the word work groups or whatever, but trying to pull together? It's been an initiative with the
Yeah,
affiliates or?
Local systems, has a group that does them, but this one was Jacob and a couple other engineers going together to do it on their own.
So, Zach, who wrote the grants?
Jake.
They had, what was it, I remember what
There was a grant writing.
grant writing firm that they used.
Yeah.
Okay.
That Fayette County had used
The
previously.
engineers themselves didn't write the grants?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
We paid a third of the price.
Okay.
For 3 counties, Fayette, Bramer, and Hobbs.
How much?
30%. There was 3 counties that were in. There's Fayette, Bramer, and Hobbs.
So the entire grant, I think was 25 million, and then what did we get 9? I think we got 9 million of it.
Yeah.
So.
And we need to have an engineer on, that can sign off when we talk about doing that survey or with Brandon, right? Okay. So we don't get a delay in those projects because of
Right, by the 17th is when we need that.
17th of January.
Yeah, there's approximately $6 million worth of paving projects that are in the program right now to be let March, April. And if we don't have someone on board that can sign that, some of the local projects probably could be let with some help with an outside agency. We can't let them without a licensed engineer. That will be all on hold until we can get somebody that.
So even if we could do this next Monday, if Brandon's got a contract next Monday, then we'd be locked in for the 13th, ready to roll or whatever.
We have to make sure that's top priority.
Yep, I think we need to do that.
Would a motion to work with Cerro Gordo County on a interim contract for professional engineering services for approval soon, even this coming Monday, and then get ads in place for a county engineer? And if you don't want to set any,
I just think that's always a negotiation when you hire somebody, you know,
usually there's a range. Usually there's a range. But the motion could be to be
maybe the
determined for
county's
the range.
different than the board I sit on at the bank. That's always negotiable. I mean.
So, if you'd be okay with that, I would make a motion that we work with Cerro Gordo County on a contract for interim professional engineering services and get ads out for a county engineer full-time position.
We're stepping away from the sharing.
This doesn't eliminate the sharing.
Yeah,
It doesn't eliminate it. I mean, if
it doesn't
you,
eliminate it. I mean, because, I mean, if you set your limit,
Well,
you might not get, I mean, we might have this Adam Miller, but we don't have the like pay for him, you know, I don't know where that would go. Or could be anybody else, but if there's 4 positions out there already and they're
3 of them are Southwest Iowa.
but they're top potatoes. There's a need.
Yeah.
You know, it's an
That's
engineer's
all over.
market, not the employer's market
It's all
necessarily.
over.
we need to have a motion though to engage with Brandon on a part-time, temporary basis.
It would be Saragordo County. When Brandon,
Well, Saragordo County, but
Yeah.
we have to do that right away.
Yes.
yeah, so that's, I would say, make a motion to do, my motion is that we engage Saragordo County in developing a contract for Brandon's services as a professional engineer during the interim. And that we advertise for a full-time county engineer with wages, range of wages to be determined at a later date.
That interim period, does it have to be time specific, like 6 months or as long as it takes?
And until we, we might be
Beggars
lucky.
can't be choosy. When you get here, we have to do this.
Was that your
Yep.
I'll second
motion? Motion by Carr, second by Campbell. Any other discussion?
Is there any other options out there? Can you hire a private firm like Bolton Minks on a per hour?
That's my understanding. That would be like we did before with WHKS for, that they cannot, it has to be a county engineer to sign off of some of those.
But you can't
Professional
hire
engineer.
a private firm to come in as an intern during the transition?
That's what we did with Scott Sweet. And my understanding is he's limited on what he can sign off of. Like lettings, he wouldn't be able to sign off on lettings.
I think maybe you need to go down to the state and ask for forgiveness. And say, hey, we're
Do
between.
you guys
rock
have
and a
anything
hard
more? I mean, I appreciate your
They had
comment.
that happened previously and the state refused to do that again with the county. Because they were basically trying to hire on temporary and never had a county engineer. And that was actually the saving of money, but it isn't what the funding agreement from the federal government would allow. They want the committed engineer on staff.
I think we need to do what we're doing here, Gordy.
Yep, well, I just looking at other options, I don't know.
Kind of between a rock and a hard place.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, next item is item 23, review action regarding appointments to various boards with terms ending in 2024. You got this sheet, you got this probably. Everyone on the Area Development Corporation Board their terms are up.
Yes,
Or
those
have
are,
been, or
those are 2-year terms. Randy Heights is interested. Paul Ridinghouse is interested in serving again. Travis O'Connell is not. So in your packet is an application from Dean Jaden. If you're interested in entertaining Dean Jaden to serve in Travis O'Connell's position.
Agenda packet or the other attachment?
That's in the first attachment.
And B.
Thank you.
No, we just get to make those appointments. It's a larger board than that.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. Page 26.
So he's gonna replace Travis O'Connell.
He's requested to, he's applied for
Yeah, but that's him, that's a vacancy, is Travis.
that. All three need to be appointed. Yeah. And you've already done, I'm replacing Mark. So it's just the three above there.
So Randy's gonna do it again. Paul said he would do it. Travis doesn't want to.
Correct.
So this is the only application we had.
That is the only one submitted. I did reach out, I reached out to, my husband's cousin, he was retired from farm chem, and I'd reached out to them because I was just, my head was going where it seems like Paul Rottinghouse has been a beneficial member, with having that business knowledge, and that's just a guess, but I did not, the management, a couple of the management people there are not residents of Floyd County. So, and I didn't know of anyone else at Farm Chem. And that was just something that I thought of. I think Dean's a good candidate as well.
We don't have any other candidates, so
That's a pretty easy one, right? Motion that Dean Jaden replace.
I would second.
motion by Campbell, second by Carr. Any other discussion?
So did you say the three, Randy Heights, Dean Jaden, and Paul
I
Rottinghouse?
just said, yeah.
It'd be those three.
Three, yeah.
A 2-year term on the area development court.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then we've got, board review, Wendy left.
Those are not your appointments to make. I just left it highlighted because when we go to the assessors conference board, we typically have just noted them in this meeting, but it's just highlighted so that it's not a forgotten thing at that meeting, whenever that one occurs. So the next one on that page is the two Board of Health members, Denise Pavlovich and Dave Tyson. Those were yours to consider.
Didn't David retire?
Correct. So it was finding another person.
Yeah,
Dave Tice resigned
Oh,
already.
Okay.
Due to his wife's health issues, so
I
he's
didn't-
been off.
I didn't reach out to Denise, so I don't have an answer from her. But I will. We need someone to replace David.
That's what you were assigned to, is those two appointments.
If I'll have to talk with, Gail. David and Denise.
I imagine Denise probably will want to be reappointed.
Yeah, I think so.
I wonder if we could even just do a call to Gail, because their board meeting is, that's the 14th.
It's a couple weeks.
Yeah, okay. So you can check that as a future agenda item. Or Dennis gets something there.
I'll talk to her today, so. So we need to take some action on regarding those appointments. We did Dean already, right?
The next one on there would be zoning commission. We have 4 applications.
And, Derek Strode, and Sandy. Murphyfield
Pat Murfield,
and,
Ben Swartz.
Benchworth. Yeah, the last two come kind of late. I didn't have much time to research them. I know Dennis Sandy and I know Derek Strode. And Derek is from the Rockford area, isn't he?
Actually north of Rudd.
North of Red.
Mhm. North of me.
I do have some comments on all of them. Pros and cons on all of them. I look at Derek seems very well qualified. I look at the timing of their meetings. They're usually 9 a.m. meetings, and with them teaching in the school, I wonder if that's going to be a problem with attendance at those meetings. We know, we have some that have very strong positions on the hot topic of the wind turbines. And we know that Derek's position has been very strong as in opposition of wind turbines. So that's my 2 comments that I have now. On Dennis Sandy, I have no idea where Dennis Sandy stands. Dennis is formerly employed with the NRCS office. He is retired. So I think for the most part, time is not an issue for him. The zoning commission, one of their responsibilities is, and needs to be looked at, is to update the land use plan. And I don't know of anybody who might be better at understanding the land uses than someone who worked in his capacity with the NRCS office. I have no idea where he's at with turbines. Pat Murfield. I love that Pat is I love that Derek has his background. I love Pat Murfield's background. I like that engineer role and understanding things like that. We know Pat is pro-wind. So we have an anti-wind and we have a pro-wind person. Anti-wind with Derek and pro-wind with Pat. Now, as far as we know, the zoning commission is done with their part of the zoning ordinance. So maybe the wind turbine stuff has no impact on anything. I have no idea. I look at Ben Schwartzrock, and the only thing I know of, you have an engineer there again. I think that's, again, bodes well for the position to have some of that knowledge with what is needed, what they need to know about for zoning laws. I have no idea where Ben stands on the wind stuff, and again, that's maybe totally irrelevant. I do know that there was a little bit of hesitation with when you own a business or you're part of a business, that sometimes you can get some hits on your business. That people say, I don't like your position on something, so I'm not gonna buy from your company. So I know that's a real thing that happens. But I honestly think we have 4 very qualified applicants.
I went through the same process similar to yours, Uncle, but I didn't know that much about Ben Schwartzrock right away. Murfield, I don't know if it was this one, but it was one of them that was in touch with me regarding the turbines and wasn't very courteous at times. It's a brother or what the relation is, but I'm leaning towards Derek Straube in that position on planning and zoning. That's my input.
If you're looking where you lean to, I lean toward Dennis Sandy, because I think with that land development process they have to go through, I think he carries a lot of knowledge for that part of it.
That's something to get for one position. What's that tell you? Huh?
Had a heated topic.
Pardon?
Told you we've had a heated topic.
Oh, it will. Yeah. I mean, and quite honestly, we're going to have a lot more, I think, in the future of the planning and zoning being very important. A lot of things are coming down the turnpike, you know, honestly.
Oh, we've had two companies interested in solar.
Yeah.
Putting up solar.
Yeah.
So that's our next.
Yeah. And then I thought it was really interesting. Sarah Gordon come out with their recommendations. 100 pages. I got to record it all. I mean, very professional, big done. But, and as I go through these, and I've known Sandy, I mean, farming, very well, nor would you, but Ben. I'm going to lean towards Derek. I really think he's very knowledgeable, gung-ho, and I think he would be open. And I don't think finding the time, he would, I think, find the time. Put up to a vote.
I would also, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna say, you know, you mentioned that there was a Murfield that wasn't very cordial or whatever, courteous, friendly, whatever. I feel that happened with Derek during the zoning process as well. And so I'm just gonna throw this out there. It gets a second or it doesn't. I would make and I'm doing this because I feel like it's a neutral person and I'm looking to the future of zoning and what someone can bring to it. I would make a motion that we appoint Dennis Sandy as the zoning commissioner for a 5-year term. On the commission. Again, a second doesn't mean that's who you're voting for. That means you're entertaining action to be taken on that motion.
Well, I'll go ahead and make the second motion so we can discuss it.
There's a motion by Carr, for Dennis, Sandy, second by Boyd. Any more discussion?
Because I just would reiterate, I know, I know we have all this baggage with wind, pro or against wind. And I think it's looking to the future. That's gonna play out however that's gonna play out. I know Dennis sounds like he's got the time. There's not gonna be, shouldn't be any scheduling conflicts or anything. Again, I have no idea what his position is. I know where the position is of two of them, Derek and Pat. And I think that that's maybe the place where we just need to stay away from, put that aside. I think those two should be.
That would be nice, Gloria, but honestly, in my opinion, of the Planning and Zoning Commission, far from that. It was, I think, tilted so much in one direction that if you make that argument, I'll make the argument that we need to balance that out some. That
MP that worked at NRCS.
Yes, Chair.
Is he a rural property owner?
Yes. He lives in the unincorporated area. You don't have to be an ag property owner, you just have to live in the unincorporated area.
I would like to know how many acres of property he owns.
It's not based on acres of property that you own.
I
It's,
just
you
would
just
like to
can't be a
know.
city resident.
Understand? You don't like this guy, you don't like this guy. I don't want somebody that's living on 2 acres either.
Well, if you look at what the zoning commission does outside of this ordinance, say wind, let's take that off the table. The number of acres that someone own is not a criteria at all for this. You're looking for.
Neither is your opinion about the other two. That is irrelevant.
But that's what I was trying to just let someone that isn't already vexed in a position, because it's not about wind. This is about, they've got to update their land use comprehensive plan. They've got, solar is going to be out here at some point for an ordinance to come up. And their part, like I say, is potentially done with the wind side. And so I'm just saying, let's move forward. That's why I'm saying, let's take out the two that have been very passionate on wind, because it's not, the zoning commission isn't all about wind.
I don't think it's your place to sit there as a supervisor and disqualify 2 people because of their position.
Gordy, you're twisting my words.
I think that's
I've
the end of
said we have.
discussion on that.
Well, I don't think it's your place to say it's the end of the discussion. I said from the very beginning, and I still stand by it, we have four very qualified people. And someone who has worked in the unincorporated area on all these CREP projects and different projects that Dennis Sandberg brings a lot to the table with land use. And you're not muddying things up with wind. You don't want it to be about wind is what I'm saying.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Aye. Aye. So,
I would make the motion to Derek's Robbie. And second.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
motion by Campbell, second by Carr. Any other discussion? From Derek? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, the next item is future agenda items. Anybody have any future agenda items right now to consider?
You missed a board. Still have Board of Adjustment. You're gonna talk to Wendy Johnson.
Board of Adjustment? Oh, okay, Wendy.
At the December 23rd meeting, you were assigned with me.
Oh,
And then I emailed you
Yeah.
information to contact her.
I have not done that. Sorry. Doctor. She's very involved. I know that. Smart lady.
That at a future meeting.
who's that boy? What was her name?
Wendy Johnson.
Wendy Johnson. She's interested in doing it again, is she?
He hasn't followed up with her, he said.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, you
I
have.
dropped that ball.
So you need to follow up the Board of Health and you need to follow up the Board of Adjustments.
Yep. Board of Adjustment. Right? That's all.
All right, now, item 24, future agenda items. Have any that come to mind right now?
So you do have Board of Health and Board of Adjustment. I think Jason Webster sent everybody an email about rescheduling active threat training and closing the courthouse.
Shooter, whatever, active shooter thing.
Yep, active threat training. Sheriff has a jailer resignation. Healthy Harvest Iowa would like to present to the Board of Supervisors for their budget request, as does the Library Association. There is the 28E law enforcement with the mayor's meeting. It looks like that will be the 13th. That's to discuss the fees for sheriff services, law enforcement services.
13th of January.
Yep, it looks, I've heard back from 3 of the mayors. I haven't heard back from all of them yet, but 2 of them have either date works for them. I put either the 6th or the 13th, and either date works for them. One of them put back that the 3rd works, so I don't know if he missed the 1 or if he fat fingered and got a 3 instead of a 6 when he was typing. I think I emailed him back last week saying, do you mean the 6th or the 13th? And I haven't heard back from him yet. There's been a request for signs in the parking lot for jailers and dispatchers from the dispatch office. I'd like to visit with the sheriff about that before putting that on the agenda, but that's sometime here.
Right out on the south side.
Yeah. And maybe it's just asking department heads to, some of the people that are, departments that are parking back here to park over here, and then we wouldn't have to do signage. And
Jim?
I had something to add to the future agenda items, if I may.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I would like for the board of supervisors to consider visiting or possibly updating the solar ordinance. My knowledge, last time I looked at it, was pretty vague and not very well defined. just to see if that's something that you want to consider.
So with that, I would just say that with the two people who have asked for permit applications, Jesse did consult with John Robbins, and John Robbins said just that they're not allowed at this time. There's nothing in our ordinance with solar. There's zero in the ordinance with solar. So it's not permitted currently. So those companies, my understanding, Jesse has talked to them and said, we don't have that option now. The intent of the Jim, Dennis, and Mark before was to get wrapped up with wind energy and then do solar. So I don't know. That's what you all agreed to before.
Right. And it's
Solar is picking up a little speed now too, and interest too,
I think
more so than in the past.
Yeah.
So we probably need to address it.
Well, it's something I just wanted you to consider.
It might be maybe just starting a conversation with John Robbins before it comes to the board and saying, are you ready to start someone, or do you want to do both of these at the same time?
Boyd, you're not talking about solar at all with your mediation.
I'm not, and I'm, you know, it's supposed to be about wind batteries also. We really can spend an awful lot of time on batteries, you know, and that is a whole, if you read a lot about that, that's really a whole separate thing. And, yeah, and of course, I was supposed to have a meeting today, but yeah, Samantha got influenza, so that's got canceled, so are we on for the 14th?
There is nothing said. The 14th didn't work for everybody originally. There was no date in January that worked for all 7 people.
So we're back to square one
We're
again
back to
on
square
that?
one, yeah. And I had suggested maybe a Zoom meeting, but that evidently.
Well, I can, out of confidentiality, I can say there's nobody at the meeting us for that.
But we have over $4,000 sitting at the table whenever they all meet here.
Yeah, I know. How much do we spend on, spending on, lawyers for the
I
carbon
think-
park?
I think if you, that's been a lot.
How much?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we're all aware, I mean, because the judge and everybody are spending money.
Yep, we gotta stop spending sometime.
I know.
Yeah.
Any other future agenda items?
Law Enforcement Center Courthouse update. Also would like a budget review, please.
You can just get that anytime. Dennis can get that for you anytime.
I want the public to know.
There's not been hardly any, since that was presented the last time, Gordy, there's
Is it
been
done?
nothing.
Is this thing done?
No.
Okay then.
Dennis
I
knows
want
that.
that.
Dennis could tell you that. He knows that the sheriff's
Look at
stuff
the
is
tape
not
on the
done.
ceiling up there?
Yeah.
It's not done.
I want it in the minutes.
Dennis can do that for you anytime.
And I have a question about DD 16.
Drainage District 16.
Yep. Property owners, I'm one of them. We all got a bill, but nobody knows what happened. What work was done?
Remember what they did? You guys approved it. You guys approved it. You remember what they did?
No, I don't. That was,
I would like an itemized statement.
You can go to the auditor's office and get that. The
And I'm supposed
supervisors
to
already
go-
have it.
I'm supposed to go up and get that from the auditor's office, and I'm supposed to take it around to my 20 neighbors and show them.
Well, it's a repair. They do repairs all the time, Gordy.
I
Secondary
want an
roads
itemized
has it.
statement. I got a bill in the mail to pay for DD 16, and I don't know what anybody did.
Okay, so Dennis has that information. The supervisors approved that some time ago. So Dennis has that in an email from agendas, or you can get it from the auditor's office.
But why, when you send out a statement that there was repair work done on DD 16, why doesn't it say fixed the tile hole, did this or did that. It just comes as a bill.
Yeah, because that's what the supervisors approved, was the bill, which was in the claims.
How about an itemized statement? Before I go up to the auditor's office and write a check.
You're not gonna come to the auditor's office to write the check. You're gonna take it to the treasurer's office just like you do any
Oh,
property tax.
I'm sorry. I'll go to the treasurer's office to write a check, but when I get my tractor fixed, it tells me everything they did to my tractor.
Yep. And that's
I
what
wanna
these
know
guys
everything
approved.
they did to DD 16.
And that's what they approved.
I'll get that for you, Bernie.
Yep. Cause it's due.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the work was done.
Just throw a check out, don't know what I'm paying for.
That's why the district decided years, whenever that one was established, to have the supervisors be the trustees, not themselves.
Understand?
Yep.
But
So that's what they did as
for
trustees.
future reference, an itemized statement would be welcoming.
The system is just like your property tax statement. The property tax statement doesn't say you're paying this much for the sheriff, you're paying this much for the auditor, you're paying this much for the supervisors. It just gives you a bill. So you're not gonna see it in a statement that comes out. But every one of you can check with the supervisors or the auditor to get that information.
The county did their repair work.
Yes. If you said something when the engineers were here, they probably could have told you what it was, when the staff was here from the engineers. That's whatever property owner requested the fix, should be able to tell you what they did as well. It was a
I'm not
property
gonna go
owner.
around to my 20 neighbors and find out what got done.
Well, no, but
It should have been in my statement.
your neighbor who requested the fix of a tile went to the engineer's office.
I got a lot of time on my hands. I'll go around to all the property owners in DD 16 and find out what was done.
That's up to you if you want to do that.
I got no time for that.
Yeah, so you see it in the agenda items. And the supervisors approve everything.
Must have missed that.
So he can go to the auditors and get the itemized.
Yeah, it's just like the
things.
statements
Yeah.
that you guys got in your agenda packet today. That's what you get. That's it, but you get it when you're paying this claim, but it was also provided to the supervisors when the engineer's office provided the statement so you could do an assessment. So it's been in the agenda for initially with the property owner that came in and said there's work that needs to be done.
Who was that?
I don't know. I'd have to look back in the minutes.
See?
You can look back in the minutes too. You can look back in the minutes too. I mean, we have 40-some drainage districts. I can't remember who does what. And they don't come to our office, they go to the engineer. Or to Tim Lobby, secondary roads. Tim's the tile person. We can talk, you can make one phone call, go to Tim and say, what did you do? Or Dennis can get it for you.
Any other future items? If not, item 25, adjourn the meeting.
Make motion.
Motion by Carr, second by Campbell. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. It's just in your.
I said this, so I can have to sign it before we leave.
Okay.
The resolution.